Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new view on travel. We are travel agents with a collective 59 years of experience across Canada. We are in Vancouver, Saskatchewan, and Ontario. So we're representing all areas of the country. And just a little disclosure, we are expressing our opinions and we want to talk about some fun stuff about travel because we're tired of all the negativity and being locked down. So we're going to talk about travel, but this is our opinion only. We're not representing our companies or anything like that, just ourselves. And if you have any questions about whether or not you should be traveling or whether or not you need medical restrictions regarding that, of course, please check out the Canadian government website or speak to your doctor for that advice. And on that note, like I said, we're going to be talking about travel. So we're looking at it from a positive perspective. So we aren't going to be allowing or advocating for any travel bullying or shaming, as it's more commonly known. So we'd love to hear from you. We definitely want to see your comments, so put them down below. And we'd love to hear from you, but any negative comments are probably going to get deleted because we want to keep this positive and happy and fun. So on that note, I'm Christine and I'm from escapes.ca. And I also have a YouTube channel, which is just my name. It's Christine Turner. So be sure to check that out.
Hi, I'm Tammy Prost from Saskatchewan with Tropical Escapes, Destination Weddings and Travel, Inc.
Hi, I'm Sherry Coleman from Robert Q Travel in Goderich, Ontario.
So as you can see, we're well represented across the country and have a lot of different experience that we've had in the last year. Sherry, why don't you tell us a little bit about what this last year has, what this roller coaster's been like?
Hey everybody, I just wanted to let you know I'm sitting here at the Hollywood foot of the Hollywood Hills right now, or at least dreaming I was. Thanks, Christine. It's been a non-existent time, and we've been dealing with lots of different stages of grief as we're experiencing life without our travel careers. It's my life, and anyone that's in the travel business, it's a life of passion and our main source of income. I'm not going to lie, it's been a tough year. We've been trying to stay afloat and ride the crazy emotional roller coaster. I know everyone has, not just us, but everyone has suffered so much this year. But we want you to know that we're still here and we're ready for the change. March 17th, 2020, a whole year has passed.
Crazy.
I know, it's hard to believe.
Crazy.
Never ever thought we would,
not
it's
have
just gonna
travel.
be just a couple more months and we'll get through this. And then that just kept going. It just came to a complete screeching halt. Like the government announced the non-essential travel advisory for international travel and then clamped down on the border crossing and just shut it right down between Canada and the US land borders. So travel agents and suppliers and airlines were scrambling so hard to get all these people, just get them home safely. Our industry was in a complete tailspin. Cancellations, flight schedule changes, daily changes of terms and conditions, and refunds versus travel credits. And we just didn't know how to handle that much that quick, or how to deal with it. There's no manual for a pandemic.
No.
And there's really no clear vision on what's going to happen in the future either yet. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's really sad to see all the travel sectors take such a financial hit, with cancellations and major layoffs to the airlines and tour suppliers, and our BDMs are all gone, or like hotels and destinations that depend on tourism as their livelihood. Travel agencies, I'm heartbroken myself to see so many agents and agencies losing their jobs and closing their businesses that have been here for 30, 20, 10, it doesn't matter how many years, but when you shut those doors, it's heartbreaking, to be quite honest.
It has been.
Going forward, then, we are having to deal with or trying to work even harder to get refunds processed instead of when they changed it from future travel credits to then refunds, and everybody was confused. And I still believe there's a lot of confusion out there on this because, I mean, we're still dealing with the insurance companies that we've dealt with to, protect our clients all this time. And then, there's the 14-day quarantine that you must do when you come home from traveling. This is earlier on. And then it started to look a little bit more promising in the fall when, the airlines were putting in HEPA filters and stringent cleaning
Protocols.
things. And it's the requirements and everything to make everything clean again. Really they upped the ante on that one. Everybody has to wear a mask on the flight. They give you a little piece of
Hand sanitizer.
hand sanitizer. Yeah, hand sanitizer. And
wipes and stuff.
they took away the onboard services, so it just limited the contact use between people and the flight attendants themselves. So it looked good. The rooms, I know at some of the resorts, well, I hope all of the resorts, they've gone to the fact that some of them walk in with hazmat suits and spray the rooms down every time just before or every time someone leaves, before someone new comes into that room, resort wise. They're taking some pretty big measures to make people feel safe when they come. Destinations, hotels, tourism, they're all doing new cleaning processes to get people out there, and the airlines too. And suppliers started offering COVID insurance with a lot of their packages, which was nice to see. And then in the fall, Calgary started a pilot test for PCR testing as soon as you landed in Calgary, to help eliminate that 14-day quarantine if you had a negative result. So that was really cool. We were hoping for it in Toronto. We haven't seen it yet, but it made us think that things were going to get better at that point in time. And then December, the government came out and said, nope, now you have to have a negative test to even get into, or before boarding the plane, sorry. Yeah. So that just was one more, honey to the pot. January, the government requested and stated that all Canadian Airlines ground all their flights to the southern destinations, the Caribbean and Mexico. Well, now as of yesterday, I believe, Transat has now extended that until June 14th. So the April is now bypassed, and I'm assuming Air Canada, again, assumption, will likely follow suit. When one airline usually does something, it all kind of circles around. So February 4th, all international flights could only be funneled through 4 Canadian airports. That was like Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, and Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. And then the 22nd, if you arrived by air, you are now, not only do you have to prove one before you board the plane, you have to take another one when you land in Toronto, for example. You have to pre-book your own hotel at your own cost for at least a minimum of 3 nights and wait for that test to come back to you, positive or negative. Negative, go home, finish out your 14-day quarantine at home, you're good to go. Positive, the government's shipping you to a different hotel that's government approved for and to handle positive cased passengers. So it's been a crazy, crazy, crazy year for us. We're still here, we're still smiling, and this is why we're doing this. But it's been a rough year. So I don't know.
We're close.
We're
close. We're close.
Yes, I see it. So
yeah, it's been tough, but somebody managed to get away during all this. So, I mean, Sherry, I know you've been grounded for the last year. Actually, this time last year, I was on the beach in Cabo. So I was lucky to sneak in a trip before everything crashed. But Tammy, you actually went away. So tell us what that was like.
Yeah, at the beginning of December, I had decided that I did need an escape and just take off for a week. I went to the Hard Rock Riviera Maya in Cancun, Mexico. I felt that what the airlines were doing, what the airports were doing, what the hotels were doing with all their new requirements, safety protocols, travel insurance, COVID travel insurance, that we could go away safely and enjoy ourselves. So we took off. While in the airports, which was really strange because they were so empty. Nothing is open. There's very limited restaurants, but pretty much all the lounges, all the stores are closed. Same as what we're living now. Everybody needs to wear your mask and you need to hand sanitize. That's everywhere. Still, once you get into the airport, you got your temperature taken, and boarding the flight was easy. They would board from back to front. Give you a hand sanitizer, as Sherry had mentioned, and pretty much no service on flights, just to kind of keep that contact spread down. So if you are on one of the WestJet flights, I do advise that you do pack a lunch, because you're only getting a bottle of water and a cookie if you're in economy. And if you're in premium, you'll get a choice of beer, wine, and coffee, but no alcohol, sadly, and no pop, and just a small little snack box. So definitely pack a lunch if you're taking a WestJet flight across Canada at this time.
So with the alcohol, you're taking no hard liquor, just beer or wine?
No hard, yeah.
Okay. But could you order more than one drink? Because I'm thinking
yes,
this would secure business class booking, right?
yes, you could. Yes, you could, because we were in premium on the way back, and we did kind of make up for some extra wines that we normally would drink, the hard alcohol. But yeah, sadly that was it. I guess trying to maintain less contact distribution, I guess. When we left actually from Calgary, there was 2 flights going out, one to Cancun, one to Puerto Vallarta, and they were completely full. They were leaving at the same time, and side-by-side gates. So there was a lot of people within one little area, which I thought they could have maybe spaced that out, but it really wasn't an issue. Everybody abided and respected the social distancing, and away we went. Once we touched down in Cancun, it was perfect. We were the only flight to arrive. So we were able to get through immigrations, collect our luggage. We also had our bags searched in customs and on our transfer within 1 hour. So it was perfect way to start perfect way to start the holiday, because that Cancun airport can be pretty crazy.
It can be full.
So, yeah, exactly. So onto our transfer, we were asked to hand sanitize. They cleaned our luggage before putting it into the van. Our driver wore a mask, and we just kicked back and enjoyed the cervezas that were waiting for us for our transfer to our ride to the hotel. Once we arrived at the hotel, we again hand sanitized, took our luggage, they sprayed it down, put it in a secure little area to keep for us while we were doing our check-in, and away we went into the hotel lobby. And just before there was a temperature check, fella standing there that you get your temperature taken, and sanitizing mat on the ground to clean your shoes, and and away you went into the lobby.
What's the deal with that? Like, what are the flip-flops somehow? Is that how this whole thing spread? Were flip-flops the cause? Did they explain it?
Not really sure exactly why. I guess they're just trying to do all safety protocols to try to keep whatever possible germs could be out there on the ground to a limit, I guess. So yeah, wipe your little feet and away into the lobby you go. Reception is all now behind protective plexiglass. We were given wristbands, which usually now is your ticket to opening your door to your room is a wristband, but they cleaned it, made sure it was clean before they put it on us. Signed our papers and our health forms that we had to do as a requirement. They did give us pens, brand new pens in plastic to keep, so there was no chance of pens being passed around to spread anything, which I thought was another cool idea. And everything is now done on a QR code. So you would just scan a QR code, and it would include all the hotel general information, restaurant details, daily activities, nightly entertainment, all that kind of stuff, all in the palm of your hand. So that was kind of nice. And that was to eliminate any of that paperwork that you usually get when you check in, the daily activity guide of what's going on for the week and whatnot, that usually just sits in your room and you forget it anyhow. So now you had it right in the palm of your hand. the Hard Rock did implement called the Safe and Sound program, and they this was to protect all their guests and their staff, stating all over the place, so there was no chance of you not remembering what needed to be done about mandatory face masks all indoors, while you're in restaurants, while you're in the lounges, the spas, the theater, mandatory mask, hand sanitizers at every area of those. Also, the face masks could be taken off anywhere you were allowed outside of, by the pool, by the beach, smoking or eating and drinking. That's where you could take your mask off. Other than that, there was always cleaning going on. Every 10 minutes you would see someone, if there was someone sitting someplace and they got up, like in the lobby area or the courtyard, someone got up, there was always someone there to wipe everything down where that person was sitting. Same with out at the pool. No lounge chair went without being cleaned and moved and spaced the safe distance away from everybody. Every 10-15 minutes, there was always someone walking the pool to clean that. Because of the time we went, and because of the Mexican government's requirements, the hotel was only open at 30%, which really gave us a lot of options to not self-quarantine, but maintain that safe distance from everybody. We found spots around the pool every day by ourselves with our own little wait staff. So yeah, it was a perfect time to go, in all honesty. Loved it.
I'd be like, woohoo!
It was like, look at this. This is heaven. This is just just exactly what I needed. No added stress of worrying about if there was anybody beside me. We did what we needed to do to protect ourselves. If we could have been where there was a little bit of activity closer to the activity pool and whatnot, but no, we were going there to free our mind and just kind of chill. Pool bar or wait staff around the pool was always on point. They did have the pool bar, the swim up bar closed, just for the fact that a lot of people congregate around there. So to avoid any crowds, that was closed, but they made up. The waiters were always around trying to make sure that you never had your drink was never empty. So yeah, other than that, because of the low occupancy, they only had the one side of the hotel closed off or open. They have an adult side and a family side, and the adult side was closed so that they can maintain that 30% and keep kind of the one side going. With that, they were doing some major renovations over on the Heaven side, redoing the pool and fixing up some damage that was done earlier in the year due to the hurricanes. It is now, that side is now open, and now they're working on the family side and doing some updates, redoing the pool, renovations and whatnot. So they're definitely taking advantage of this downtime to do some upkeep, which is nice. It's always nice because they usually never have the time to do that because the hotel's always so full. So yeah, it was definitely a good time to
So are you telling me, Tammy, that our favorite restaurant was closed while you were there? La Piton?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Yes, sadly, and I knew that before going, that the restaurants on the Heaven side was closed. Actually, while we were there was one restaurant that did open up, Chow's, but La Petite was closed, sadly. Yeah, so, but I did get to see Maria.
Good.
Yeah, did see Maria. She was working the buffet until it would reopen. So nice. Yeah, it was good to see her, but sad, I missed out on my favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
Speaking of the restaurant, again, as soon as you get in, you're asked to hand sanitizer, face mask till you get to your table, and all your menu of that restaurant, if it was an a la carte, is all done on a QR code again, right handy with you. Everything on the table, if you needed any extra condiments or anything, are all individually packaged and wrapped. So another way of things are not sitting around and people can touch. The buffet restaurant, which I quite liked, and I would be fine if it continued, is all the food is hidden behind plexiglass, and there is a server behind it to dish out whatever you would want. It's still fresh, it's still plentiful. You can load up as much as you want. There's no limit. It's just nice to have someone serve it to you and you not have to worry about where did that spoon go from before, or who touched this spoon or whatnot.
Right, because how many times have we been in a buffet and well, I've done it. I've accidentally dropped the spoon or the ladle, and then it's like, okay, I'm trying to find a staff person to give it to, because I have also seen, it's so disgusting. People pick up that spoon and not know where to put it, so they put it back on the counter. Then the next person comes along, hasn't seen what's happened, so they grab it and stick it in the food and dish it on their plate. I'm like, gross. So this takes care of that whole issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I would be perfectly fine if that continued, because
just keep putting that on my plate.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you can go back and forth. You just would have to wear a mask while you were going through the lineup.
Sure.
And away you went. The rooms were, as soon as you arrived to your room, there's a sticker on the door that states that this room has been specially sanitized and sealed for your protection, so that you know you're going in there. The last person that was in there was the cleaning staff, and now it's safe to be your little safe zone, and away you go, as well as the mini bar too. So they would clean whatever was in the mini bar and clean it and then put a sticker on it stating that it's been cleaned and sealed for your protection. No staff can come into your room. So housekeeping, bellman or room service cannot come to your door or cannot come into your room unless you are there and you give them permission. Otherwise, they will just hand you, if you're doing room service, they'll just hand it to you while you're at your door. Housekeeping will come every other day if you'd like, and then just ask for extra toiletries and whatnot, towels if you needed them throughout the time, and they would just deliver them to your door. Again, everything wrapped in plastic. Not the towels, but like the toiletries and anything that came to room service, plastic wrap, and not glass cups. If you were having coffee, you're drinking out of plastic, so it's a throwaway and they don't have to worry about it's going in the garbage, and it's not going to sit around, someone's going to touch something or whatnot. So yeah, so
Tammy, how was the remote control? Was it wrapped?
They always put a little cardboard thing around the remote control. Every time you go in there was that again.
Right.
Maybe in the 𝑚𝒓𝒂𝒂𝒏, I made sure it had an extra little wipe with my sanitary wipes once we got in, just to give me that little extra peace of mind. But I trusted the process, and they were doing what they needed to do for sure to make sure that we felt comfortable and safe. And it was really just great to see so many familiar faces that I hadn't seen for about a year, because sadly that's the last time I was there. And even though they were behind their masks, you could just see the smile in their faces, that they were happy to be back working, because they were off for a couple of months and just loving what they do. So it was just full of love as soon as we saw them. I can't wait to get back there so we can give each other hugs and see each other without the masks. But it was definitely great to see so many familiar faces. Other than that, arriving back into Canada, at the time that we went, we were mandatory to quarantine for only 14 days. Only for 14 days. That sounds like it's no big deal now, but required to quarantine for 14 days and download an ArriveCan app, which the government would need to. The government needed your details, where you were, your quarantine plan, and also it had a daily check-in that we needed to do with some health questions, just to maintain making sure that we were monitoring for symptoms and whatnot throughout our 14-day quarantine. Other than that, the only really thing that I had any little bit of kind of not even concerned, just kind of playing with my head a bit, was on the second day that we got back into quarantine, WestJet did contact us to state that someone on the plane within 7 rows of where we were sitting had tested positive for COVID, and we should monitor for symptoms. So that played with my head a little bit for a couple days. I did take my temperature, probably more than normal, just because. I
just see you doing that too.
Colin kept saying, and I do Colin too, and he'd say, "Stop it, you're going to burn a hole in our heads," because it was the laser one.
I just see you doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, we had a wonderful time. We had no concerns. We felt safe throughout the whole travel process from leaving to coming home. And knowing what I know, I'm not hesitant to get on that next plane as soon as it's ready to fly. So yeah, we traveled safely. We had a great time. I know other agents that did travel throughout kind of the COVID year, and they all seem to be able to travel safely as well and come back home COVID free. So yeah, that was my personal experience of
But, you know,
traveling
it's nice to see that everything is that clean now. It's unfortunate that we weren't doing this, 50 years ago, like the cruise lines.
right?
And, if they had have all been doing this all this time, we may not have, just a guess, it might not have been this way, but going forward, it's nice to know that you can maybe lick the floor now. Where you always
if you want
touch
to.
anything. Yeah, or wondering, when was the last time this thing was cleaned or that? Or,
yeah,
exactly. So it's definitely, these protocols, these new safety protocols that are in place is definitely going to help for sure.
And we should point out too that you were staying at the Hard Rock Riviera Maya, which is it's a 5-star property, and every hotel has issued their safety protocols. Well, they had to, in order for the government to allow them to reopen. But, the protocols vary from resort to resort. So some are a little bit more loose in certain areas with the restrictions. Others are more restrictive. But, it really depends. And certainly if anyone's looking to travel, we can help you with understanding what level of protocols you're going to experience at a certain resort. Now, Sherry, why don't you just update everybody on what the current protocols are for travel?
I don't know if I can do that, Christine. They change too quickly.
That's the truth.
And I'm not even kidding you. It's either this, or this, and then you go and you tell your client that it's this, and then Trudeau or Ford or whoever comes out and says, nope, it's now this, and you're like, okay, let's do this again. Let's start this whole process over again. And here's the new information. And I mean, as much as we know, and as much as we're up to date with all the changes that come through with every cruise line, airlines, tours, doesn't matter what it is, they're out there. They're just, it's too hard yet to, you always have to be checking what the new one is, because it does always change. So just make sure your travel agent does their job. And make sure that, for your own comfort, and I normally would tell my clients this too, you have to be responsible for some of your stuff. We can't bear down as travel agents and honestly know everything.
Not during these days.
We don't know what the Netherlands is doing right now. Well, we might, but then they change theirs too. So check with the people that you're going to visit and see if they know what the protocols are for them coming in. And maybe they know something we don't know. And check the Foreign Affairs website. Always check the Foreign Affairs website, because unfortunately it says don't travel, but hopefully we can see that go soon.
Yeah, and we've got the flights that are grounded to some destinations until April 30th. But who knows what's going to happen after that? I mean, I'm hoping that some of the flights will start to be reinstated and we'll start to see a little bit more travel. But who knows? I mean, I'd love to be on a beach. Tammy, where are you going to go next?
Well, hopefully, Mexico. I'm dying to get back to Mexico for sure if I'm going south. Me and Sherry have a trip for June that we're really hoping is going to open up for the US. So yeah, there's a few places that I want to go within the next couple of months here.
Perfect. Yeah. I think that what's going to happen is once travel comes back, it's just going to be a flood of people who have got a lot of pent up frustration and a lot of pent up desire to, well, look at our backgrounds. And everybody wants to be on a beach or Hollywood or somewhere fun. So, So let's talk about what has happened over the last week, the In Case You Missed It segment. So there's been a couple of things that have come up. The hotel quarantine, the mandatory hotel quarantine that the Canadian government has instituted, that was challenged in court this week. That began. So who knows where that's going to take things, but the first day in court was, I believe, Wednesday. So we'll see how that plays out. We've still got, as Sherry mentioned, Transat has just delayed their flights until mid-June. And for those who don't know, Transat and, Air Canada was looking to buy out Air Transat. And then COVID hit and everything got delayed. So the whole approval process was delayed and delayed and delayed, such that they missed one of the deadlines, which has allowed Air Canada to now withdraw their offer without penalty. So if they do not go forward with the deal, Transat has already said that they are in a bad financial situation and they need a bailout. Well, all the airlines have said they need a bailout, but Transat needs an influx of cash and in a big way. But there is and I don't remember his name, but there's a very rich person in Quebec who has presented an offer. And I've heard as well that Onyx is also interested, but that would present an interesting challenge because Onyx bought out WestJet. Gosh, was it last year? I don't remember when that took place.
I forgot about that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the whole thing is the competition.
I thought they couldn't move forward with any other kind of offers or anything until they know that what's going to happen with Air Canada. That's what I had heard.
Yeah, exactly. But if Air Canada steps away, then that does present the opportunity for somebody else to come in with an offer. So, who knows? But it is up in the air at this point in time, and it is maybe not looking good for the future of Transat unless something does happen. So, we'll see what happens.
I heard that they've got a plan B in place, whether they go forward with Air Canada or not. So, yeah.
Well,
that's why that we'll have to
just how quickly everything changes.
Exactly.
Well,
so that's
certainly there's a lot of high level information. Yeah, there's a lot of high level stuff that we're not necessarily privy to, and the stuff that we might be privy to, like we've all got our industry contracts, right? So we might hear something from somebody, but it might be an unofficial source, and therefore it might be unofficial information. Yeah, exactly.
So this is all unofficial right now.
Yeah, exactly. Now I wanted to bring up this thing that I think I sent it to you guys about this quarantine program that they've got in Thailand. Now I don't know how many flights we've got every day or weekly or even per month to Thailand right now, but what's really cool is, so their government has a 2-week mandatory quarantine for visitors who arrive in Thailand. So very similar to what many other countries are doing. But they've got a yacht quarantine, a golf quarantine, and they're looking at implementing a beach quarantine. And it is exactly what it sounds like. So for the golf quarantine program, did you guys see any of this? Like,
I saw a little bit of it. Yeah.
So if you're a golfer, and I don't know if either of you are, I'm not. I can hit the ball sometimes, but that's exactly. But if you're an avid golfer, basically you arrive into the Philippines or into Thailand. You go to the golf resort, you have to stay in your room for 3 days because you have an arrival PCR test or other COVID test. Once you've got that result, then you can go with your safe group, your bubble. You can go golfing with them and you can go throughout the resort and use the facilities. And I thought, well, that's a pretty cool thing to do. And that you have to do for 2 weeks. You cannot leave the resort. And then after that, if you want to go do land tours or excursions or go check out the beaches, you can. The yacht program is basically the same thing. They've got about 300 boats, I think it is, that are lined up where you'll basically quarantine on a yacht. So picture, in that ocean back there, imagine being on a yacht, which is, no hardship that I think that we couldn't bear. And then being able to go jump in the water and swim and enjoy that, and having your meals cooked for you. And then after 2 weeks, being able to then go and do your beach thing. Or the beach quarantine is staying at a resort. Like, I could do that. What do you guys think?
Sign me up. Sign me up.
I know.
If I have to quarantine, how much? Yeah, I'll quarantine for a month there.
Yeah, you know what? Come to say that, Sherry, you know what? I would learn how to golf to do that rather than
Right,
stay in a
yeah.
hotel room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Should be
exactly.
a pro by the time we're done that quarantine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd lose a lot of
Yeah,
golf balls,
so-
though it might be costly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. So we've got a big holiday coming up. We've got St. Patrick's Day coming up. And Sherry, you had a fun question that you wanted to ask everybody.
What is all your favorite green drinks? Christine?
Well, I have a little green champagne. Okay, look, it's
Nice.
11:30 in the morning. I'm in BC. So it's soda water.
It's quarantine. It's okay
it's
now. Apparently
quarantine.
that's acceptable.
That's a travel agent life nowadays.
Yeah. And it's in a champagne glass. So there you go. But I just added a couple little drops of green food coloring. So cheers.
Cheers to you. Tammy?
Yes. Me? Thank you. I just had my Cabana Boy because I'm in Mexico right now. Bring me, and I don't know if you can see, but it is a mojito. It's probably as green as I'm going to get. That's, yeah, lime, mint, it's green. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
And Sherry?
Well, right now I just have green water just to be able to cheers with you as well. But I think if I had a random McDonald's after the gym and got a shamrock shake, I might have added some vodka to it.
Oh,
Or I heard Bailey's.
Oh, that would be a good. Oh, that's a
that
thick
would be
shake.
tasty.
Wow.
Oh, you could do it.
And you've been to the gym, so you'd burn it all off like that.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
That sounds fun. So, Tammy, why don't you run down what's our topics for our next show? Oh, and let me stop you there. Before we do that, everybody, if you are enjoying the show, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also join our Facebook group, which is A New View on Travel. And be sure to join that group, so lots of fun information on there as well. So go ahead and give us the rundown, Tammy, on the next week's show.
All right. Join us next week while we're going to talk about should we be booking for Christmas holidays, what's going to be opening up, and what's it going to look like once things start opening up, the States, Disney, Vegas, cruising. In case you missed it, segment of what's hip and happening in the top kind of travel details that we know of that has changed for that week. Also some travel tips for your future travel and 5 top reasons to use a travel agent.
Very good. That sounds like fun.
Yes.
Definitely. And you know what, you guys, if you're watching this and you think that there's questions that you have or there's other things that you would like us to cover off in the show, again, please jot them down in the comments below, and we'd love to hear from you. And over to you, Sherry.
I just, this is 3 heads that we put together to try and do this new fun little thing on the new view of travel going forward. And I'm glad anyone that's watching is watching today, and I hope that they tell their friends. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. We again want you to know that we're here, and it's really been fun to just talk and chat about travel. Period.
It is. It's
with
just
months of just going, crickets.
It's really no end in sight.
There wasn't, and now I feel like there's. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not sure how much longer that tunnel is, but it's there, and it's fun, and it's promising and exciting. And hope this show gets you excited about thinking about travel again. And we will be doing this again in 2 weeks, Friday at 2:00, and my time,
Eastern.
Yep, you are 1, Tammy.
I will. Yes, 1.
And Christine
and 11 o'clock Pacific time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining in, guys. Can't wait to do this again. And we just want to share our thoughts on our new view of travel. Take care.
Thanks for joining. Bye.
See you next time.